All right, thank you.
But he's not.
All right, does anyone have someone that you're ready and they're actually on bond? All right, is he on bond? All right, let's bring him up. Oh, has he already been sworn in?
No, he's about to be sold.
Okay. All right, is he on bond?
He's on bond.
Sorry, just one moment. Hello? All right, John Michael Garza? Oh, no, he's on bond. Okay. All right, so this one jury trial, correct? Do you want a bench trial or you want a jury trial? All right, so y'all need to refresh your memories today, because if you want a bench trial, then that bench trial is going to take place on Thursday. Then we're going to do a jury trial, quick turnaround. We could probably do a jury selection on Monday. Okay, all righty. No, if you all want a bench trial, then you all have to make that decision now. All right. All right, thank you. All right, and then on McKinney, I know they're bringing him out, but what's happening with McKinney?
It's got 2 charges. I took the case over from Raymond. I can just bring it back on Thursday. I want to show him this video of his simple stuff.
Okay.
To see if he wants to take a plea. He's very familiar with the law library.
Okay. All right, state. On McKinney, defense counsel is asking that the plea deadline date be extended to Thursday. He has recently been placed upon the case and his client wants to see some videos, or he wants to go over videos with him. All right. All right, so we'll bring him back tomorrow. And that
Thursday.
is Raymond Lee McKinney. On Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Raymond Lee McKinney.
Yes.
Ms. Ferguson. On Raymond Lee McKinney, can you bring him back tomorrow?
Thursday.
I wonder if I can say
Thursday.
tomorrow. Thursday. Thank
Thursday,
you.
Norma.
And then we'll be here on, I'll be like, where's Robert?
I'll be in 12.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Are you going to have
All right, anyone who's out here who's ready to proceed? Yes.
Ms. Powers, even
She's doing it now?
Yeah, she was like, they're all telling me that she was like.
All right. If you'll let,
Okay.
Renee know. All right, are the parties here on Cummings?
I don't think the best money in here.
All right, Raymond Lee McKinney? Hi, if you come forward, please. All right, Mr. McKinney, your attorney is actually in a jury trial in another court. So he's asking that you come back on Thursday. So we're going to bring you back on Thursday, okay? All right, and that's a relative new attorney for you. Do you have any questions?
You referring to Robert Marlowe?
Yes.
Okay,
So he said he wants to be able to show you some videos.
correct.
So he's requesting that you be brought back on Thursday. So we're gonna bring you back on Thursday, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You two up.
Are y'all gonna work something out on the MGI? No? Because I thought it was separate from practice.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, okay.
I don't know the statements.
Do you have the certificate of appeal? You have the cert of appeal? Yeah.
Yes,
Do you still need the cert of appeal? Because you also have it. Okay.
yes, yes, counsel?
Judge, we're ready on Bella.
All right, who's here on Bella? Elliot Bella. Where's Elliot Bella? Are y'all ready to proceed on the motion to revoke?
Here we are, Your Honor.
Court is calling 2023 CR 7388 State versus Elliott Scott Vela. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? For the defense?
Gary Chirac.
And are you Mr. Vela?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't have the original motion to revoke. All I have is the first amended.
Just a second, Judge, let me see.
But you want to drug court. Oh, okay. Like it's gonna go to Saturday.
Oh, it's okay, Judge, I'm sorry.
All right. But we're gonna do drug court.
All right, Mr. Vela, did you review the document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision and First Amendment Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you the same Elliott Scott Vela who was placed on deferred adjudication for the offense of robbery on 2023 CR 7388 for the offense of robbery on November 13th, 2023 for a term of 6 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state.
In Bear County, Texas, the defendant Elliott Scott Vela did then and there fail to report the supervision officer as directed for the months of May and June of 2024 in violation of condition number.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, Your Honor.
State waives the remaining violation allegations. Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find violation of condition number 4 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is, Judge. He's agreed to go to SATIC.
All right, so how long has he been missing or not reporting? From what year?
The year last year.
I'm sorry?
2024. He does have a drug issue and he's relayed to me that he does want help.
So you've been missing May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's 8 months. All right, you want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Elliot Vela.
All right, so you've been missing for close to 8 months. Did you ever call probation?
In the beginning I did, and then I stopped because I figured I had a warrant. I got a letter in the mail for Atascosa County that had a warrant, so that's why I stopped recording.
So why did you never reach out to probation and tell them you need help?
I really would think I was, like I said, I had a drug problem. I was just out there.
I mean, but here's the thing, having a drug problem doesn't excuse you for your responsibilities. So I'm trying to make a decision on whether or not to revoke you and send you to prison or whether or not to send you to treatment. And you're just saying, well, you know, I had a drug problem. You need to tell me something more. What have you been doing with your life?
Honestly, not much. I mean, I've been on heavy drugs for 15 years now.
I'm sorry, what?
I've been on heavy drugs for like 15 years now. So I mean, it's just been a revolving door, you know. And
Did
I've
you
never
even
had a
do any
program.
of your parenting classes?
Yeah, I completed. That was the first thing I did. And that waived my community service right after it.
All right, probation. Did he complete his parenting classes?
Judge. I don't have, he completed any of his community service hours.
Well, with the parenting classes, the court said that the community service hours would be deemed satisfied upon completion. All right. Did you do your sober support meetings?
Yes, I was doing those. My PO had a copy of the first few months I was out. Yeah, I did those weekly. She had me doing weekly, but I was doing those.
Did you have employment?
No, not yet, man.
Well, not yet. You've been on probation since 2023. Did you ever have employment since 2023?
Just with my mom's boyfriend, her husband.
All right, see, and how's he paying you in cash?
Yeah. So yeah.
I don't do the cash and carry employment here. You understand? All right, probation. What are you all recommending?
Judge. The recommendation of the court summary is for status, followed by aftercare. We do need to, tap quality of custody and then for him remaining in custody for the status. I did speak with Mr. Bella briefly, and he did indicate that he has been a long-term drug user. And I would also recommend a felony drug court referral.
All right. So I'm going to give you a choice. You know yourself better than probation knows you, better than your attorney knows you, better than I know you. But these choices come with honesty to yourself. You know, my grandmother would always say, you can be dishonest with other people if that's the way you choose your life, but don't ever be dishonest with yourself. At this point, right now, you cannot successfully complete this probation. You have other things that are going on. So if you would like, I will revoke you. I will sentence you to 3 years, or what's going to end up happening, you're going to remain in custody. They're going to do a TAP evaluation. And I'm going to order felony drug court referral. You're going to remain in custody for that. If felony drug court does not accept you, you are going to be in someone's inpatient treatment. So those are your two choices, 3 years in prison or treatment. Which do you prefer?
And with the 3 years, would I get back time for the time
You see, you receive credit for any time. Legally, I have to give you credit for any time you've been in custody.
And I would discharge my.
No, here's the thing. I don't do this thing where I'm talking to you about what parole is going to do.
Yes.
I can just tell you what the parole law says, but whether or not you're released or not, That's strictly on parole. We can go off the record. Here's the thing. There are certain things that you can listen to inmates about, and it will be true. One, how much time people are actually doing at the prison. An inmate, if they tell you how much time people are actually doing at the prison, usually that's true. Two, when everybody is catching chain, that's usually true. When they trying to give you legal advice, usually not true. All right, we can go back on the record. What do you prefer?
I'll take the program.
The program, when you say program, what do you mean? Well,
Drug court referral.
it's gonna be drug court referral or whatever placement they recommend. Probation has said SATF in this, but if the recommendation is safety, that's where you're going. And safety is 9 months.
I'll take TC.
He prefers TDC. Thank you for your honesty. It's gonna be 3 years prison. Give you credit for any time served. And I'm sorry, are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes.
All right, 3 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with Nordstrom. And there's also no contact with Adam Trevino. And I'll ask for the therapeutic community. All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal? Oh, and I'm sorry, the court is finding you guilty and the court is going to revoke. And I know you understand what I meant, but it has to be on the record. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yeah. In other words, you don't
File
have,
court.
yeah, yeah.
This document.
Yeah,
All right. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
got a right to appeal, yes.
All right. Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, we can go off the record. Good luck to you. When you are released from prison, you need to take care of your drug habit. Otherwise, you may end up on the side of a street where somebody's trying to identify your body. And I will say, I remember him. So when you are released, if you can't find a place that will help you with your drug addictions, you can always come back to here. If I'm here, I'll pick up the phone, call somebody for you, okay? All right, good luck to you, okay?
All right, good luck.
John Garza? All righty. So are you available to come back tomorrow?
And always come back, Judge.
All right, so we'll see you back tomorrow for a jury trial.
I mean, I have
Ms.
other settings,
Ferguson?
but I'll be here.
Hmm?
I have other trial settings, but I'll be here. We'll see you
All right.
first.
Tomorrow or Thursday?
I'm sorry, I keep saying tomorrow. Thursday.
Thursday, okay.
Thursday. So your jury trial will be Thursday and we'll select the jury at 11. How many witnesses do you think there is in this case?
The officers, I think. Evading and tampering.
Judge, I'm sorry, we haven't confirmed.
This morning.
What's up the case?
It's an evading.
Debating, it should be maybe two
Just the
witnesses,
officers, yeah.
Your Honor. if that's
All
the
right,
case.
so if we do jury selection on Thursday, then we'll probably be done by Friday.
It should be, Judge, if you just pick, if you pick in the morning or that part in the afternoon, but
I
it's only
see.
two, so if we have a full day Friday, it should be.
Okay.
able-
All right, thanks. And State, can you check to see maybe if you'll have witnesses available on Thursday? If not, that's okay.
Yes.
But I'm thinking jury selection, it should probably take an hour at
Two minutes
most.
aside.
Yeah. All right, once you sign the reset form, you're excused. Thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
Thank you.
right, no more cages, Garza on.
He's on page 5.
All right, thank you. Who's here on Cummings? Who is here on Arriaga? Jesse?
If that's Mr. Martinez.
Ray.
It's Ray and Victoria.
All right, are you all ready on Jesse Arriaga? And I'm sorry,
Victoria.
Callahan, who do you have?
Oh,
All right, I'm just waiting to receive that file and then we will take it up. I don't have it yet. Are you all prepared to proceed?
We are, Judge.
All right, is this a plea?
It is.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 0229, State versus Jesse Arriaga. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Opinion for the state of Texas?
Defense?
Raymond Martinez.
And are you Jesse Arriaga?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Arriaga, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication with your attorney? Did
did.
you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
I did. Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive reading of the indictment?
We do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are not, Your Honor. We are proceeding forward on an amended count 1 of attempted indecency with child by contact.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
We will waive count.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
I did. Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged? Well, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of attempted indecency with its child sexual contact as a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain, yes.
I forgot to also include in the amendment, say we asked the Your Honor, reach an amendment also known as the name Jesse Ariana. Yes, sorry, excuse me.
All right, any objection?
No, Judge.
And are you Jesus Arriaga?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you the same person that is listed in the indictment?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you also go by the name Jesse Arriaga?
Not Jesse R, but Jesse A. Ariaga.
I'm sorry, Jesse A. Arriaga.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that also you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're also Jesus Arizola Arriaga III?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So did you understand the range of punishment?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, off the record. I see here where you all put state recommends deferred adjudication for a period of 2 years. You all are not allowed to enter into an agreement on the length of probation. So if that's a deal breaker, then
We had an extensive conversation on that, Judge. We understand it's within the court's purview to set the term,
then it needs
although
to-
I
be
think
removed.
we can still agree to whatever we want to agree to.
all right, so,
And then what I would say is it doesn't bind the court, but
well,
I wanted to have the ability to withdraw my plea if the court was not going to follow that.
well, no,
recommendation.
you all are not allowed to agree to the term. And it says the state recommends deferred adjudication for a period of 2 years. That shouldn't be here. If y'all want to put down here, this is where your recommendation for 2 years is, but not above the line. So if y'all are trying to bind the court to the length of probation, I'm not going to allow y'all to do that.
That was not the state's intention, Your Honor. Both parties understood that the court has the ability to, and to order however long of probation the court deems appropriate. However, I think defense's concern was that we just wanted it known that our intention was the state was recommending 2 years. of
Yeah, I
deferred
mean-
adjudication.
For the court, it's there at the bottom of the line. And if you all want to argue and fight for 2 years on the record, you can, but placing it above the line is not appropriate for the court.
I understand, Judge. I'm not going to quarrel. I understand.
No, no,
I expected you to say something along those lines. However, My position was, we wanted to be able to withdraw our plea if the court wasn't going to follow the agreement.
So you all want me to say 2 years, and I'm telling you right now, you all don't get to dictate or make an agreement to the length of his probation if I follow the plea. And I know that's not anyone's intention, but
Yes.
it just should not be above the line. Because this is what's binding upon the
Well,
court.
this is the last thing I'll say about it, Judge, and because I'm not arguing with any of the things you're saying. The issue is, if I make certain representations to my client that induce him to accept a plea agreement, I don't want the rug to be pulled out from under him, because then he winds up with a 10-year probation instead of a 2-year probation. And so I didn't know any other way to address that other than in this fashion.
All right, so this is what I can tell you, sir. The state and the defense are not allowed to present the court and make it binding on the court that I were to give you a probation term of 2 years. They can argue for the length of probation time. They can argue for certain conditions. The only plea bargain agreement you're able to enter into as a binding contract with the state is whether or not they're in agreement to you having deferred. If they agree for you to have deferred, hypothetically, we can go off the record. Hypothetically, if they were to agree for you to have deferred, and then you come to me and I say, I'm not giving you deferred, I'm giving you a conviction, then I have not followed your plea bargain agreement. If they were to say, I want you to have 3 years in prison, and that's your agreement, and then I were to come back and say, I'm not giving you 3 years in prison, I'm accepting your plea and I'm giving you 4, or I'm giving you more than that, I'm not allowed to do that because that's not a part of your plea bargain agreement. The length of time someone is on probation, that's for the court to decide. Whatever conditions, that's for the court to decide. For example, when you hear me telling people you're to report every month, if I were to tell probation they can report once every 6 months, then those are my conditions. And they only have to report once every 6 months. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So the state and the defense are telling me that they want you to have 2 years probation, the length of time. They can argue for that, but I don't have to give you 2 years. I can look at it. Maybe I will give 2 years. I don't know. I don't know anything about this case. I don't know the facts of the case. I could give you 3 years. I could give you 4 years. I could give you up to 10 years probation. I don't know because I don't know anything about your case. But they can argue and say they want you to only have 2 years deferred. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, so if y'all want to step back and discuss that, you can step back to discuss it. If you still want to go forward with your plea bargain agreement, then this, for a period of 2 years, that's initial, need to be removed from above the line.
Well, she might not. Judge, we can scratch it out, Judge.
All right, so if you all want to. All right, we're back on the record. So with regards to the plea bargain agreement, is there any objection from the state or the defense, thank you, to the court removing the words for a period of 2 years next to the state recommends deferred adjudication?
We do not, Judge.
All right, so the court will remove that portion. And Mr. Arriaga, do you have any objection to the court removing that?
No, I don't.
All right. So you understand the range of punishment?
I do.
And you understand that if you have a plea bargain agreement, the court does not have to follow your plea.
I do.
If the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
By entering this plea, you are giving up those rights. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand? If the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in the prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes,
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Judge.
Mr. Arriaga, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense under count 1 of attempted indecency with a child by contact. There's a $1,500 fine. The state is recommending deferred adjudication. There's to be Chapter 62 compliance. And of course, you know, there is a registration period related to that of 10 years. And there is to be no contact with the complainant. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that to be the entirety of your plea bargain agreement? Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Judge.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, I do.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, are there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years and that you be with the sex offender unit. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offense, the lesser included offense, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor, this on state officer 6 Exhibit 1 with all attachments.
No objection, Judge.
All right, and state, have you spoken to the complainant or the complainant's family?
We have, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You may be excused.
Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver and consent to stipulations of testimony and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yeah.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. Counsel, I'm sorry, I don't see it in the stipulations, but did your client ever talk to the police or did they ever contact him?
They contacted him. I don't think he ever got a statement. Right.
So I'm just checking to see if that's in any of the
There's
sticks
no
and I don't see
admissions,
any.
no, Judge.
I'm sorry.
There's no admissions or statement. No.
Okay. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court would defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We'd like to, judges.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, all I can say is that, as you can see from the nature of the plea bargain, there was a lot of exchanging between the parties of information, mitigation, the history of the case, the issues with the child. Unfortunately, she had a very difficult upbringing, losing a parent very young and didn't have the other parent. It just goes on and on. We went through CPS records, we went through counseling records. And it was a hard decision for Mr. Aliaga to arrive at, but he felt it was in the best interest of himself that he not expose himself to a different kind of an outcome. And he's going to have an extensive registration, which doesn't begin until after the term of probation expires, which is why we had such a long discussion about how long his probation was going to be for. He has a clean record for the most part. He's been gainfully employed. He's never missed court, never been late to court, has not had any violation reports. He's ready to put this case behind him. We do want to address one issue regarding his ability to have access to his grandchildren. Because of the nature of the case, obviously there are restrictions in that regard. The parent of those children is here in court. If the court needed to hear from him, or he could advise probation in writing what his desires are in that regard. He's not asking for unsupervised. He just wants to be able to see him as he has been their whole lives. Other than that, Judge, we've asked the court to follow the plea agreement.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. Is there anything you wish to say?
No,
All right, and what do you do for employment? Not where you work, but what do you do?
I'm a barber.
All right. This is what the court is going to do, is a $1,500 fine, time and money, $1,500 fine probated. Chapter 62 registration. There's to be no contact with the complainant. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Proof of employment within 30 days. No employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular and random UAs. With the UAs, you can either do a patch. The patch costs more, but you won't have to. It's less time constraints on you. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. If he's to have a contact with minor, it'll have to be an approved chaperone by probation. And usually, for example, with regards to your grandchildren, you'll need that person to be the supervised chaperone. Usually it's approved. If it's not approved, or there's something with that, just let the court know.
Understood.
And he'll be with the sex offender unit, and the court is going to sentence you to 4 years deferred adjudication. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you. Thank you. Probation will go over conditions. Perkins. And who do you have, counsel? Because I don't have that paperwork. Before we do Perkins, Callahan, who's your client?
I'm Elizabeth.
Ah, all right, they put it up here. It's on the bottom of the sack. If you come forward. And then Vashawn, whenever you all are ready with your witness, just let me know. Thank you. Oh. Okay, I'll call you up after. Thank you. All right, is there a plea on 2 cases?
Yes, Your Honor. One's the TIC.
Oh, one is a motion to revoke. Oh, sorry, this is Medellin.
This defendant has 2 cases, Judge, and we're proceeding on the first half and arson indictment and TIC.
All right, thank you. All right, court is calling 2022 CR 10344 State versus Elizabeth Romo. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jenny Callahan defense.
And are you Miss Romo?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Are there any applications, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Right, did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, we move to waive count one and proceed on.
Any objection?
No objection.
Did you understand in count two, you're charged with the offense of arson of a habitation or place of assembly? That's a first-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Do, Your Honor.
Ms. Romo, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Sorry. Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on count two. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at 6 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine, no applications, and they're taking in consideration 2024 PF 26808. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
It is, Judge.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offense in count two, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
State offers states exhibit number one and attachment.
Objection.
State, you may be excused. Did you review the waiver and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
We asked the court to follow the plea agreement. Nobody got hurt in this case.
All right, and I'm sorry, state, is there any restitution?
No, Judge.
All right. Is there anything you wish to say on your behalf?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Then the court will follow your plea bargain agreement. The court will find you guilty. The court will take in consideration 2024 PF 26808. 6 years in the prison, credit for any time served, a $2,000 fine, time and money to run concurrent. There should be no contact with Frank Benavides, Carlos Alberto Regalado. Just one moment. All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are there any drug issues or mental health issues with you? If there is, I can also request the therapeutic community for you. It does not increase the time that you're on, the time that you're in prison, but it is to help you with any issues you may have.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'll also request the therapeutic community. All right, is there anything else?
No, ma'am.
All right, when you're released from prison, if I'm still here, you need help finding a place to stay or help with any type of issues you have, just come back. If I'm still here, I'll pick up the phone and help you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to see where you were at, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks for your patience.
So that's.
Israel Medellin? Is your attorney here? All right, where's his attorney? Oh.
I'll wait to the front.
All right, and there's only one motion to revoke, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, court is calling 2020 CR 0572 State versus Israel Medellin Jr. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense?
Floyd Barrera, Junior.
And are you Mr. Israel Medellin?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you the same Israel Medellin who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2020 CR 0572 for the offense of evading arrest, detention, using a vehicle on February 10th, 2022 for a period of 3 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. Violated condition number 1 on or about the 20th day of July, 2023, in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Israel Medellin Jr., committed the offense of unlawful carrying of the weapon in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True. Your Honor, will waive the remaining violated condition.
All right, any objections to the waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 10 years in the prison and up to $10,000 fine? Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1? Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There's not an agreement, but there's a proposal, Your Honor.
Yes.
Well, there is partial agreement. The agreement is that he pled true to the UCW. The state will be taking into consideration that cause number, which is 713157 at a county court number 8. And also at the same time of that incident, we're taking another case into consideration, which is the unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, which is 2023 CR 9587. And we'll tender those dismissals to the court. Thank you, Judge. And Judge, the state's recommendation is revocations that have been agreed upon.
All right. So the state is recommending revocation. Do you have any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. My client.
All right, you want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Israel Medellin Jr.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Yes, Mr. Medellin, could tell the court what you do for a living.
Yes, miss, I make music for a living.
I'm sorry, what?
I make music for a living.
Music,
I've been, yes, I've been doing it for 5 years. It's been helping me pay my house, take care of my family, my son, my wife. It's what I do for a living. It's how I get monthly income. It's how I pay all my bills. It's how I survive.
And explain to the court who your family consists of.
Me, my wife, my son, he's the third, and then I'm having a baby on the way too.
All right, so let me just tell you right now, the crux of the court's question is going to be, what has he completed since he's been on probation?
I didn't hear you.
Oh, what has he completed since he's been on probation? Because the only thing I have before me now is the fact that he picked up an unlawfully carrying of a weapon. So what has he completed on probation?
Miss, I've reported every month. I was
No,
reporting to
no.
Lozano.
I'm just trying to get to
Right.
what have you done on probation?
I can-
Sometimes, just a
Slow
second,
down, slow
take
down.
a deep breath.
I'm sorry, miss.
Sometimes this is what the issue is. You will have somebody come before you and maybe they have a motion to revoke and they picked up a new case. So what do I know about you? What I know about you right now is that you were placed on probation and you committed a new offense.
Correct.
So I'm trying to figure out, what have you been doing since you've been on probation? Everybody always comes in, and I say everybody, and 99% of the people come in, I have a baby on the way. And you know, my mindset is always, why were you not thinking about that before you picked up a new case? Or people will tell me, my mother is in the hospital, or my family member is in the hospital. And you know, my question always is, why were you not thinking about that before you pick up a new case? So I'm trying to figure out, what have you completed on probation? Were you reporting? Because your conditions of probation are to report. Were you reporting?
Where?
Were you reporting? Did you report on a
Yes.
regular basis?
Yes, miss.
So you've never missed reporting?
No, I may have missed a date or something, but I always try to make sure I stay on top of it. I may have missed a date. Yes, I have.
Here's the thing, we're not talking about maybes. My understanding, the probation officer's here. So were you reporting regularly?
Yes, miss. Yes, I was.
Did you ever miss reporting?
No.
All right. Have you completed any community service hours?
I was supposed to pay them off. Yes, I was trying to pay them off. I was trying to get your permission actually to pay them
Now,
off.
so here's the thing, you need to listen to my questions. You've been on probation since 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you complete community service hours?
No, miss.
All right. Next question. Did you complete parenting classes?
I completed one of them. Yes, miss, I did.
No. Did you successfully complete your parenting
Yes,
classes?
yes.
So what I mean by that is all the classes, if parenting classes were 10 classes, right?
Yes, I took them all. Miss.
Did you get the certificate?
Yes, miss, I did.
All right. The next question. Did you participate in field visits?
What is that, miss?
Oh, probation comes out to your house to check on you to see that you're doing well.
Yes, miss, I know, they have my address. I never, I don't know how that goes. They never contacted me to go to my house, but they have my address where I live at.
All right. So counsel,
Yes,
any other questions?
yes. Are you on medication?
Yes, miss. Also there, I do have a medicinal marijuana, license. And I know I have came out positive for marijuana, but I get prescribed THC oils. And that helps me with my insomnia, my PTSD, and it helps me stay asleep at night. That's the only reason I have positives on there.
He should have been on in my opinion, Judge, a mental health doctor. He has serious PTSD and anxiety, and
Well,
he needs cognitive thinking. It was recommended on this particular case, Judge. And I couldn't agree more. Getting him
well,
to.
did he take the MRT? Because that was one of his conditions.
What does that mean? I'm sorry.
Oh, to help you make
Better decision.
better decisions, to help you realize the correct moral choice. For example, not to pick up an unlawfully carrying of a weapon because you're on probation.
No, miss, I don't think I took it. I
Okay.
don't think so. I don't recall.
Okay.
It's been a while, miss. Atascosa County did sit me down for 7 months, so that is a reason why I may have not been reporting, or I didn't have no reports from August 4th to February 12th. I was incarcerated in Atascosa County last year. But everything before that, miss, I had been reporting every month. I had been taking my UAs every month, miss. I had been complying and trying to get this out the way, miss. Like I said, I have a family I take care of and rely on me so much. And I just found out I have another baby on the way. It's not nothing I wasn't thinking about. I just found out, miss, and it's just it's news that's.
Well, everybody knows,
expected.
everybody knows how babies come to be.
No, yes, miss, I understand that. I'm just saying, like, I wasn't aware of it. I'm not trying to continue to live my life like this. I do have a family that depends on me a lot, and I'm just trying to get out there and show them I can do right. My son depends on me a lot,
He's
and
a
I'm just.
very talented singer, musician,
Yes.
makes music, writes music. He's very creative, Judge, but he's got some mental issues.
Mhm.
And I do make music, miss, and I have a very big following, and I feel like that is the reason I get harassed, honestly. And I've tried to.
Who's harassing you? Was probation harassing? Because all they wanted you to do was report on a regular basis.
No, miss, it's not probation. It's not
All they
probation.
wanted you to do was the MRT. And here's the thing, you have been on probation since 2022.
Yes,
And
miss.
everybody knows if people successfully complete their probation, normally, I would say about 90% of the time, if they complete everything and they ask for early termination, I usually give it to them.
No, I understand, miss. It started off rough for me. I can't lie. It started off rough for me because I wasn't used to probation. I wasn't used to people telling me what to do and how to do it. So it was new to me, miss, but it's something that I know I can get done.
How far
Especially,
did you finish school?
I went all the way to 11th, 12th grade.
All the way to the 11th.
Yes, all the way to 11th grade. I went to 11th grade, miss, and that's honestly something I'm working on right now too. Is I have my GED in the works. I need to finish. I think I need to get 3.5 more credits, and I'm done with my GED too.
Mhm. All right, any questions? Any
No,
more
ma'am.
questions?
No, ma'am.
State any questions?
There we are.
All right. Is the probation officer here?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if you'll come forward, please. Hi, thank you so much for waiting patiently. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Moses Lozano?
All right. And so I know that you have been here since this morning. So I wanted to make sure that if either party wanted to call you as a witness, that they would have a chance to call you as a witness. All right, and I know you were being brought because this was supposed to be a contested hearing, but he's decided to enter a plea of truth. So does anyone have any questions for the witness?
I do, Judge. May it please the court, sir. Thank you for staying. Saw you here at 9 o'clock this morning and you've been here all day. I saw a notation that I think you wrote as far as a recommendation to the court. Would you explain on the record what's available that you think that he could use and needs regarding cognitive reasoning and thinking?
Well, we recommended ISF. Cognitive.
And why did you recommend it?
That's what we usually do with probationers that tend to need more guidance mentally and in general.
Okay, and
Including the
for the record,
responsibilities.
what is ISF?
ISF is a program run by the state that probationers go to. They stay there for 90 to 120 days and receive the treatment they need, whether it's mental health, drug abuse, or they'll touch on it.
Sure.
But for him, it'll be cognitive, so it's more mental than drug abuse.
But can he also get drug abuse assistance there?
No,
Or is it just
the
mental?
primary would be,
Mental. And you believe that is something that he would benefit from?
yes,
And you did recommend that, correct?
yes, thank you.
That's all I have, Judge.
Any questions?
Yes, Judge. I see that your recommendation, sir, was this ISF program. And you obviously are the one that filed the motion to revoke, is that correct?
Yes.
And what would cause you to actually recommend revocation for an individual?
A probationer who consistently report and get arrested numerous times. However, it's always up to my manager. Motion to revoke.
So really, it's up to the manager of y'all's facility, of you, to what that recommendation is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, because in this particular motion to revoke, there's two number ones, that means that he was arrested on two different occasions, or at least one occasion, the unauthorized use of vehicle and also the unlawful carrying of a weapon, is that correct?
Yes.
And then there's also an allegation on here that he did not plead true to, which was the evading arrest in Hondo County or Medina County, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's at least two run-ins with the law where he was possibly arrested on new charges, or at least alleged new charges, is that correct?
Yes.
And just by you testifying now, is that if he's arrested for additional charges, that may be a reason that you would recommend revocation of an individual, is that correct?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
That's it.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
So I just have one question. So was he reporting on a regular basis or no?
Your Honor, he failed to report in July 2024. After I found out he was released from jail on 06/28/24. I attempted to call him to report. Made no contact.
All right. Does anyone have any follow-up questions related to that?
So his failure to report was because he was in custody? Or do you know?
I do know between the months of February 24 and
Yes, sir.
June, he was incarcerated.
And obviously,
He couldn't report.
he could not report when he was incarcerated, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. That's all, Judge.
Just one question. He
Yes.
was not in custody in July 2024.
No.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Anything else?
That's all, Judge.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. As previously stated, the court is finding violation of condition number 1 true. The court will take in consideration 713-157, 2023 CR 9587. The court is going to find you guilty and the court is going to grant the motion. Does anyone wish to speak to time?
Judge, he has served time for the offense that he has pled true to. And I respectfully submit that time will not help him mentally or emotionally or financially. And he is young. He's still somewhat immature. And he has responsibilities. He's acknowledged. And he's, as I say, Judge, very talented, very creative, and he works very hard at what he does.
Yes, ma'am.
But he makes no excuses for not being able to walk and talk and chew gum consistently. And that's his downfall, Judge.
Yes,
It's just inconsistency.
All right, so state, what amount of time are you requesting?
Please requesting 5 years, Your Honor.
All right, defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, we're requesting that he be admitted to probation.
All right, so I'm not gonna admit him to probation. So the state is asking for 5 years. What would you request?
Judge, we would request the minimum, of course.
All right. The court will sentence you to 4 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. And the court will request the therapeutic community. The therapeutic community does not increase the time that you're in custody, but it will help you with any mental health issues or other issues you may have.
Will you retain jurisdiction, Judge?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Did you review the trial court certification of defendants' rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? All right, but you have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on deferred adjudication. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. Number what page is Medellin on? Is that the last page, Judge? All right, can you bring him back? And can you have defense come back? It shows that he has 2 motions to revoke.
We have an amended, a first amended it. I don't,
Okay,
do you have a cause number?
well, oh, I think it's written on the docket, sort of weird. Okay, you guys are right. Thank you. Who's here on Richard Madrigal Flores? All right, who's here for Stephanie Lynn Gonzalez? Thank you. And state, this is not the case you were speaking of, was it? With the paperwork? Oh, it's yours?
It was Perkins.
Okay, all right.
The other case from the name.
Who?
From the name.
All right, thank you. All right, court is calling 2024 CR 012167, State versus Stephanie Lynn Gonzalez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Irene Galloway for the state.
Defense?
Rochelle Savella for Ms. Gonzalez.
And are you Miss Gonzalez? Counsel, have you received all discovery?
I have, Judge.
And did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Gonzalez, did you review the application for deferred adjudication with your attorney? Did
Yes,
you
Your Honor.
understand it and sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, thank you, Judge.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, sir.
All right, did you review court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 to 200 grams. That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent.
Yes,
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
She has, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I believe she does, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe she is, Your Honor.
Ms. Gonzalez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at a $2,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. The state will take in consideration 2024 CC 738173. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense is at the plea.
It is, Your Honor.
State is at the plea.
It is, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation, community service restitution, no contact with quick trips, QUI. Is it QUICK or QUIK? All right, so no contact. Oh, thank you for spelling that for us. So there's to be no, it has a C in there. So there's to be no contact with quick trips. There's to be the theft course and MRT. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State, any evidence?
Exhibit number 1 and attachments.
No objection, Judge.
All right, state, you may make excuse. Did you review the document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney?
Yes,
Did
Your
you
Honor.
understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and then the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. Court has reviewed the same. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, I would just ask that you follow the plea bargain. She has been in custody for almost, I believe, 5 years, or five
Yeah,
months,
5 years,
sorry. 5 months, Judge. And so with that, I would ask that I know, obviously, I explained that she has to do the TAP evaluation. I would ask the court to allow her to get on probation and do that while she's out.
All right. So how old are you?
I'm 36, Your Honor.
Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
18, 17, 13, 12, 10, 9, and 6.
So you say 18, 17, 13, 12, 10, 9, and 6?
Yes, sir.
And do you have custody of any of your children?
No, Your Honor.
So who are they with?
My aunt adopted them about 7 years ago.
Okay. So why was Child Protective Services involved?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why?
Because I was in a drug issues years ago. I moved to San Antonio 3 years ago. I've been living in my truck since then.
All right, so this offense is alleged to have, well, not alleged, I found that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. So this offense occurred September 2024. So how often were you using during that time frame?
I wasn't using. It was in my possession, but I haven't been using for 3 years.
So you were not using that day.
No, Your Honor.
So why do you have it in your possession?
It was meant to be sold,
Oh, okay.
to be honest.
All right. So is there anything else?
No.
All right. Do you think Esperanza Court is a place for her? Because I don't know who these other men who were with her.
Judge, I haven't asked her about the background, but I can certainly ask her, and I think that if it is appropriate, I mean, I do think that you can do the referral and we can do the evaluation.
All right. So this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 4 years deferred adjudication. And just so everyone knows, we were all wrong. It is QWIK. So it's not QUIC and it's not QIKs. I would say QIK or any of that. So we were all wrong. So there's to be no contact with Quick Trip. And it's one word, it's QWIKTRP. There's also to be no contact with the following persons: Michael Ramos and Isaac Ramos. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days of release, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular random UAs. I want the following done in custody: a TAP evaluation, a referral to felony drug court, and a referral to Esperanza Court. If she's not accepted into felony drug court or Esperanza Court, please have her brought back to court so we can figure out a appropriate placement for her. I don't know if this is an MRT problem or not. It doesn't appear to be an MRT problem. It appears to be a drug problem that's impacting MRT. So I'm not going to order the MRT. I will order theft course, hats 1 and 2. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. 120 sober meetings in 120 days. And there's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal
Yes,
with
Your
your
Honor.
attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, we can go off the record. To be successful in this court, communication is key. Now, MRT, I said that you didn't need it, but obviously there are things that are going on with you because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children, and you don't have custody of any of them. And you still have not changed your ways. You were that person who was fruitful and you multiplied, and then somebody else took over the care of your children because you cannot get your life in order and you keep doing wild and crazy things. Let me just explain to you. I wouldn't say every day, but what will you think about it? Maybe once a week, there's some body that's found in a field, and then somebody has to go out and identify the body. And usually it's they overdosed, or either they're with bad people who are upset with them. So 1 or 2 things are going to end up happening in your life if you don't get your life together. Somebody is going to have to identify you in a field, or either you are going to be in somebody's prison for the rest of your natural life. Do you understand? If you don't want that to happen to you, you're going to have to change your ways.
Yes,
I always tell people, you know what? Life is so simple. If everybody would follow the rules, wouldn't be a problem. Like children, when the parents give them curfew, if they say the curfew is at 10, if they would just be at home at 10, there would not even be a problem. But no, they want to push it. So from here on out, you cannot be pushing in that line. You know why? Because you're looking at 20 years in the prison. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge,
Yes.
John Garza, jury selection Thursday, begin evidence on Friday.
If you all have witnesses, we could probably begin testimony on Thursday. Yes. Yes, home. Hello. Yes. If I still have it. Okay, all right, I will do that. You're welcome. All right, thank you so much.
Oh, no, that's for 12 months. But it's hard. I'll be hoping it's for before I
All right, who's here for Perkins? All right. Hello. And paperwork is done correctly.
Okay.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 0129995 State versus D. Anthony Bernard Perkins. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Megan Galloway for the state.
Defense?
Albert Chidas for Mr. Perkins.
And are you Mr. Perkins?
Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Perkins, did you review the document entitled the indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, we move to proceed on the lesser included offense of theft from person with state charge felony.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? Did you understand that state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of theft from a person as a state jail felony? Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you're giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Perkins, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of theft from a person as a state jail felony. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at 108 days in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. There's a $2,000 fine. There are no applications, and there's to be no contact with the complainant. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes,
Counsel, are there been any such motion?
No, Your Honor.
Into the offense as charged, the lesser included offense, how do you plea? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence?
State offers to exhibit number 1 in attachment.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, and state, have you reached out to the complainant?
Yes, Your Honor. They're satisfied with the agreement here.
All right, thank you. You may be excused. Did you review the waiver and consent to stipulation with the attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor, we just want to proceed with the agreement. I think as a misdemeanor punishment on a state jail conviction, it's a judgment satisfied.
All right, the court is going to sentence you to 108 days in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. Give you credit for any time served. There's a $2,000 fine, time and money to run concurrent. There's to be no contact with the complainant, and the court will find that the judgment is satisfied. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. So now you have a felony conviction over a pair of shoes. I don't know why people think brand name shoes or a particular brand name shoe is worth potentially going to prison over having a felony conviction. So now, whenever you go somewhere for a place of employment, guess what? It's going to pop up that you're a felon. You understand? Make better choices. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Who is here on Jessica Dahlberman? Jessica Dahlberman? All right, thank you. All right, who's here on Miguel Santabanez? Who's here on Miguel Santabanez Jr.? Is that you?
It is.
Okay. And where's your client? Hello.
Hi.
All right, so the state is dismissing your case. They're not dismissing your case because they're saying you didn't do it. They're dismissing your case because they say that the witness is missing.
I understand.
So make better choices. You understand?
Absolutely.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you. Maybe.
You're welcome. Yes.
My understanding. The information is no, I'll send it to you. I just got the email from no check. I don't know. I don't need to. Send the information she sent it into 32. I printed up and I'm gonna put the case in on the you just did. Like you wanted to spend this time. Just send it to the queue. I printed and then I create that way for you. Okay. And then I give you the copy so that we can.
All right, Norma, is Santabanez on the docket? Ah, there he is. Thank you.
Andrew and Megan just learned.
All right, Mark Anthony Guzman. Who's the attorney for Mark Anthony Guzman? All right, court is calling. Is there a plea on two cases or one?
Two.
Court is calling 2025 CR 001162W and 2025 CR 001160W State versus Mark Anthony Guzman. Can I have parties announced for the record?
Megan Galloway for the state.
Phyllis Beal for the defense.
And are you Mr. Guzman?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, have you received all discovery?
Yes,
And did you review it with your client?
yes,
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Guzman, in each of the cause numbers, did you review the documents entitled waiver of indictment, reading of information and rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
In each of the cause numbers, do you understand you have a right to have a grand jury review the evidence and make a decision on whether or not to hold you over for trial? Do you understand that your attorney also has certain rights, 2 days from the passage of time once the information is presented, and also 10 days from the presentation of the information to prepare for trial? Did you understand by entering into these plea bargain agreements, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in each of these cause numbers? In each of the cause numbers, did you review the document entitled information with your attorney? Did you understand them? And counsel, do you waive the reading of the information?
yes, Your Honor.
And state, are you proceeding on the information as presented?
Yes.
All right. And the cause numbers, you're charged with the offenses of unauthorized use of a vehicle and possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. Each of those cause numbers are state jail felonies. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow those pleas. If for any reason the court does not follow those pleas and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering these plea bargain agreements, you were giving up those rights? You need to speak up.
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in each of these cause numbers?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do.
Mr. Guzman, in each of the cause numbers, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promise you anything other than the plea?
No, Your.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes,
Are you a U.S. citizen?
yes,
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. In each of the cause numbers, did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
yes, Your.
In each of the cause numbers, according to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 6 months in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. There's a $2,000 fine. There are no applications and the causes are to run concurrently. Did you understand that to be the plea in each of the cause numbers?
Yes, Your.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes.
State, is that the plea? Then in cause number 2025 CR 001160W, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No comment.
And the cause number 2025 CR 001162W, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No comment.
State, in each of those cause numbers, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
State office seeks exhibit.
No objections.
All right, state, you may be excused. In each cause number, did you review the documents entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations?
Yes, Your.
Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. In each of the cause numbers, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes.
And the cause number ending in 1160W. The court will sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. Give you credit for any time served. There's a $2,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. This will run concurrent with 2025 CR 01162W. And there's to be no contact with Alta Street in San Antonio, Texas. And in the cause number 2025 CR 00162W, the court will find you guilty. Court will sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail. There's a $2,000 fine. Time and money to run concurrent. This will run concurrent with 2025 CR 00161W. Give you credit for any time served, and there's to be no contact with Alta Street and San Antonio, Texas. And each of the cause numbers, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? You need to speak up.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because these are plea bargain agreements, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because these are felony convictions, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. If you don't do better, you're gonna find yourself living at the prison. You understand?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Phyllis, for coming back.
No problem. Judge,
Yes.
he actually lives on Alta Street.
Oh, well, here's the problem with you living on Alta Street. On Alta Street, they say you keep bringing people and selling drugs from your home and having crime there. That's what's gonna end up happening. If you end up on Alta Street and you're there, then you'll be there. But I will tell you this, police will not come on your street if you're not selling drugs and having vehicles that do not belong to you.
So
Here's the thing. People are tired. People are sick and tired of, you go to a neighborhood and guess what? Maybe your neighbor doesn't mow the lawn and you would appreciate them not mowing the lawn. But when it gets to the point where everybody's doing drugs, then guess what? The neighborhood goes down because everybody's doing drugs and nobody's calling it in. So they're saying you were doing drugs. Your next door neighbor doesn't want you doing drugs next to her.
don't blame her, and I don't. And
Well, I mean, they have you with drugs.
wanna rent my house out and move.
All right, so he's gonna rent it out, so we're good. Thank you, Judge. You're welcome.
Oh, that's pretty.
All right, who's here on Doberman? Doberman, all right, they are not here. Richard Madrigal Flores. All right, what is happening with this case?
Judge, I was just appointed on this a few days ago.
Mhm.
I believe the previous council didn't show support and they assigned me to this. So I'm on it now. Introduce myself. We've gone over a little bit of the stuff and
Okay.
if I can get a discovery deadline date on it.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Madrigal, if I could have a 30-day reset for discovery.
And then just the other matter, Judge, is previous council had filed a motion to reinstate the personal recognizance bond, if we could potentially hear that.
All right, I can hear that on Thursday because I don't have the document with me. At least, does anyone have the? Oh, thank you. All right, here we go. We're on the record in 2024 CR 0111824 State versus Richard Madrigal Flores. Could I have parties announced for the record? State,
Virginia for the state of Texas.
Attorney Alvarez Philip for Mr. Madrigal Flores.
are you Mr. Madrigal Flores?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this defense is asking for a reinstatement of the PR bond. The defendant is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So the court's first question is, why was the PR bond revoked?
My understanding, Judge, just according to the update letter that was provided from pretrial services, is at the time that he was on bond, that there was a GPS issue that they didn't have communication with it. So the next step, according to the letter, was that they reached out to the number for him, which was his mother's number. And she wasn't picking up and giving him the message that they were trying to get a hold of him. So as a result, there was an emergency warrant issued by the magistrate, it looks like sometime at the nighttime. And then he was subsequently arrested a few days following that. So he was out for about a week.
All right, so was he arrested with the GPS on?
Yes, ma'am. It was over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I want to know, like, did he still have a GPS on his ankle?
That information I don't have, Your Honor. However, we would like to clarify at least. I understand what defense counsel is saying about the communication signal being lost and his mom's phone number. However, at least from the violation report that the state has, and I believe is in front of the court, it looks like maybe the reason that the GPS signal was lost is because the defendant wasn't charging his device. Additionally, it also seems like when pretrial services call the defendant, he rejects or hangs up the calls. And so that's the information in front of the state. I just want to put that on the record.
Okay,
If I could just follow up with a few questions for him.
sure. You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Richard Madrigal Flores.
Mr. Flores, when you were released, on November, or when were you released, excuse me?
I believe I was released November 22nd.
And it was with the GPS?
Yes,
And where were you residing?
at my mother's house.
And, the phone number that was provided to pretrial services, was that your mom's phone number?
That was my mother's phone number.
And, how old is your mother?
74.
And, can you explain to the court, does she work, night shifts?
Yes, sir. She works night shifts at Toyota 74. She sleeps from about 7 o'clock in the morning all the way till about 3:30, almost 4. Gets up and goes to work at 5.
And during this period, did she ever notify you that pretrial services were trying to get a hold of you?
No, she was still asleep.
You understand when you're out on bond on a GPS and you provide a number, they have to have a reason, a way to get a hold of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a current number today?
We just ordered a phone. All we gotta do is pick it up.
Okay,
I don't know the number as of right now. But when I get back this afternoon, I'll be able to call home.
so,
Get the number.
so if you're given an opportunity to get out on a PR bond again, you'll have your own phone number. You're not relying on your mother, correct?
No, that's correct.
Okay, and then, do you remember when you were picked up?
I was
Arrested?
picked up November 25th,
Okay,
Monday. Reported at 9 o'clock in the morning by phone, like it was asking. And then by 11:30, they asked me to check in by 1 o'clock. I live in Poti, it's an hour drive. So I got dressed real quick, jumped in my car and drove straight down here. I made it by 1 o'clock.
and this is at pretrial services?
Yes, sir.
And when you got there, they arrested you?
Yes, sir.
And you had the GPS on at that time?
I did.
Okay, so are you asking the court to grant you the PR bond?
If possible, please.
And just one other thing, do you have employment available to you?
As of right now, I'm in the process of gaining employment. I'm trying to go work with my mom at Toyota. I also tattoo on the side.
Okay, I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, any questions?
Just a few brief questions. Mr. Madrigal, Mr. Madrigal, when you were initially given the PR bond, were the terms of how the UPS was discussed with you?
Yes.
Did you fully understand that?
Yes.
And did you agree to regularly keep up with it while you were out on bond?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did pretrial services also discuss how to keep in touch with you?
They gave me a phone number and they told me to report by Monday morning. That's what I did.
And did you regularly report when you were out?
I reported that one time early in the morning at 9 o'clock and they asked me to report by 1 o'clock in person. And I did.
Do you feel it is your responsibility or your mother's responsibility to check in?
It's my responsibility.
No further questions, John.
All right, any further questions?
You followed the instructions of pretrial services, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you weren't aware that they were trying to get a hold of you because you didn't know that your GPS wasn't communicating with the tower, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and had you known about it, you would have got that fixed, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, pass the witness.
All right, any further questions? I have a couple of questions.
Right.
All right. When's the last time you charged your GPS?
I believe I plugged it in about 7 o'clock Monday morning.
All right. And how long does that charge last?
I looked up the GPS online and to get a better understanding on that part, and it says that the charge lasts up to 35 hours.
And the other question, what is 1986 to you?
It's the year I was born.
Right. And the Cadillac tattoo?
I was the type of vehicle my brother died in.
Oh, and the What is that, the White House or something on the other side? Okay, and what is that on the other side?
LA, there's Los Angelitos.
Mhm. And what is your ties there?
It was a gang that I was representing when I was a kid.
Okay. All right, is there anything else?
Another further, Judge.
Anything further? All right, motion for the PR bond will be denied. Is there anything else?
No, nothing further.
All right,
Judge.
we'll see you back on March 6th, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much. All right, for the attorneys who are waiting, let me just tell you, the only files I have up here are Ming, Cummings, Doberman, Garcia, and that is it. So Garcia, Gonzalo Garcia. Hi. Court is calling 2024 CR 010030B, State versus Gonzalo Garcia.
This is an application.
Oh, just 1 second. All right. Oh, just 1 second. Let me see. I may. No, I do not. Thank you. All right, could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Andrew Harris, Salem.
Defense?
David Rodriguez for Gonzalo Garcia.
And are you Mr. Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Garcia, did you review what is entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading? I'm sorry, did you also review the true bill of indictment with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Waiving counts here, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objections.
Did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand you're charged with credit card or debit card abuse as a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court would find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes,
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe he does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe he is.
Mr. Garcia, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on count 1. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility. They are silent on your application for deferred adjudication. They recommend community supervision. There's to be restitution in the amount of $2,216.75 to Kendall, Kendall, and Carl Palm, Palme. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense is at the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State is at the plea. Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court.
Ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years and there be no contact with the complainants. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charged in count one, how do you plead?
No contest.
State any evidence?
Stating exhibit one in attachments, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, did you review the stipulations and waivers with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state would be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits one and attachments. The court will review the same. And state, did you have a chance to speak with the complainants?
I did, Your Honor.
All right, state, you may be excused. All right, after reviewing states exhibits one and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Do you wish to proceed with sentencing?
We do.
All right, the state is silent on his application for deferred. Why should he have deferred?
Your Honor, Mr. Garcia has zero criminal history. This is a very first offense. This is a property crime, so it was not a crime of violence or a crime involving any sort of drugs or alcohol. That's why I'd like for this young man to get one chance to keep his record clean.
All right, what?
Your Honor, I
Yes.
apologize for interrupting, if I may. I have
Yes.
his criminal history. If you would like to see it for yourself,
Yes.
and
Do you have criminal history?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever been arrested?
No, ma'am. There is always a mix up when it comes to me and my father. So hopefully it's not just they're fighting off my dad's stuff.
All right, so you've never been arrested? Okay.
And Your Honor, it's indicated to me that they opposed state offering deferred adjudication,
Mhm.
but that they were not opposed to the state remaining silent on the application and leaving to grant deferred adjudication to the discretion.
Oh, thank you. All right. If you give that back to the state. So why did you do this?
As I've said before, it was big misunderstanding between me and the person who gave it to me.
What do you
which
mean?
was-
Okay, let's start here, because I like to go in order.
So,
So who gave it to you?
so previous conversation, I knew the credit. Me and Carl were talking previously.
No,
about
who
it.
gave you the card?
Carl through an envelope with nothing else besides here.
Okay, so continue.
So when he gave it to me, he didn't tell me anything. He said nothing. All he said was, fill this out, go about your job. So while I was in the work van, I popped it open, was filling out things. 2 questions popped up. I clicked one of the options and proceeded to fill it out the way it was already done. It already had my social, my email already pre-fabbed into it. So I'm assuming without my knowledge and telling me, hey, I'm getting you a credit card, did so. Didn't explain to me anything about it. So when I did it, it was used in the way it was used, y'all seen.
Okay, so what you're telling me doesn't make any sense. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding you
That's-
and that we don't have a breakdown of communication. So you're saying that Carl gave you a credit card
Yes,
and he told you to take it and fill it out.
yes.
So you filled it out on a computer.
On my phone through the American Express website.
All right, so you filled it out through the American Express website. And when you logged in, your name and everything,
All my information was pre-fabbed filled out because it was to activate the card.
all right, so what transactions do you think you were supposed to have with this card?
So with little understanding and the conversation we had was to help me build credit. I don't know how that works on the business aspect because finding out the business card after the whole situation, that was that. Me, the way people explain to credit to me was you use it and you pay back either in full amount after use or monthly on the minimums. That's my only thing on how I took for credit cards. Like I'm saying, new to credit, never understood all this. So for him.
So
to
let me
try to
ask you
tell me-
this. Was your name on that credit card?
Yes, ma'am. It said my name and then right below it, that's when it says, that's the below part that said, or general
OGC, I know it's Orion General Contracting.
All right, this doesn't make any sense to me what he's saying.
That's exactly what the police said, because they're confused on both ends.
No, I mean, I'm not confused as far as what the police report is saying. What the police report is saying is that you were using this credit card for your personal items, not for business. So it says, Carl said Gonzalo has been employed with him for approximately 2.5 years and is authorized to use the business card for business expensive purposes. So can we agree that what you used the card for was not business expenses?
Yes.
All right, so then that's off the table. We now know that the card was used for things other than business expenses. So I don't understand why he is confused and he thinks that he had permission to use it for personal items.
I think he was confused that since his name was on the card and his name came first on the card, he thought he was an authorized user for whatever purposes, as long as he paid the bill on that card. This is a person who's never owned a credit card, doesn't really get how it works, but he was thinking it was also his card, not just strictly a company card. It was a card where he could make purchases as long as he paid the bill on the card.
And was he paying?
Hadn't got the chance to pay because.
All right, so the
everything's
answer to that is no, you didn't pay?
No, ma'am.
The charges were brought before the first payment was due.
All right, so then the question becomes, does he want a jury trial?
No, he understands that the personal purchases that he made need to be paid back, and that's part of the deal, and that's why we're asking for adjudication to give him a chance to pay back the things that he charged to actually pay for those things.
Well, the indictment says that he confesses and admit, you have the usual on and about dates. And in Bexar County, Texas, that with intent to fraudulently obtain a benefit, he used a credit or debit card, namely American Express card, with knowledge that the card had not been issued to him. So his name is on the card. Doesn't that mean it's been issued to him?
I think you can have a company credit card with an individual's name on it, but it's still the company card.
No, I mean, here comes the and part. The and part on it is with knowledge that the card was not used with the effective consent of the card holder. So the fact that it was issued to him, he's telling me it was legally issued to him. The only question becomes is about the use of it.
Correct.
And he is saying that he thought he was using it appropriately.
Yes, ma'am. That I'm doing. I do. At the time.
How far did you go in school?
How far did I go in school? Out of school.
And you're telling me you don't know how credit cards work?
No, my family has never had good credit, so they never had credit cards. No one in my close vicinity, no uncles, no aunts, nobody. So for this being the first time having to do with anything credit related, new concept. My mom can't tell me anything about it because she don't really understand. That's why I'm saying the basics, the layman's, what they told me is you use, pay back. That's the layman's of what my family said, but no one of them had credit cards before because none of them have scores enough to get credit cards.
All right, why didn't you talk to your employer if you didn't understand?
That probably should have been brought up from the start before the enrollment, but because I was brushed off, I just used, however, without further discussion. That right there would be my own negligence that I didn't discuss further with him. And I can't sit there and be like, well, it's also his fault for not telling me, because both parties are in fault at that situation.
State, is there anything you wish to add as it relates to fact issues?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Are you currently employed?
Recently lost my job, but I'm working with Blue Ribbon Staffing Agency to work with HEB on their assembly line.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 3 years deferred adjudication. There's to be restitution and no contact to Carl and Kenda Palm. The amount of restitution is $2,216.75. There's 200 hours of community service restitution. That will be waived if you obtain a higher level of education. That can be a trade school. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular random UAs. Field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. Probation, is there anything else? Thank you. Proof of employment within 30 days, no employment. Oh, I did. Proof of employment, 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Is there anything else you need from the court? Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. If you don't understand something, you have to let people know you don't understand. There's no shame. There are no such things as dumb questions. I always tell my student, there's only one dumb question. You know what the one dumb question is? Not asking the question.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Do you guys have Palmer? I mean, do you have your client, Clara?
I believe that the file was supposed to be up there, Judge. I don't know if it actually made it.
It's a paper file, Judge. That's
I
probably the reason
don't
why it's
have it.
locked in.
All right, Palmer, Clara, come up.
She's already gone, Judge.
All right, yes, what happened?
Yes, Judge.
I already did that.
So, Mr. Jumas met with her, and after the meeting, I did notify her, it would take about 30 days as per Mr. Jumas.
Mhm.
It was a little bit earlier. I notified we can maybe squeezed her in, but we're just requesting a reset of about 30 days, Judge, for that report to come through. He did meet with her and got some good information.
Okay, what date do you want it? Norma, 30 days?
I can do, on that one, Judge, if I can do March 17th.
All right, is
fine.
March 17th a good date?
Yes, Your Honor, that's fine. And if I get the report in or the report's tendered before that, we can maybe call her back in advance of that?
Yes.
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, Cummings. And Norma, what page is Para on? Thank you. Every time I called you, you were not here. And so I was like,
Sorry. Judge.
Oh, no.
Step away from it for a
oh,
hearing.
no, it's not a problem.
I made it a whole bunch more.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 009473, State versus Millard Cummings. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Rick Pena for the state of Texas. Matthew Finch for Mr. Cummings, Your Honor, ready.
And are you Mr. Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery and did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Cummings, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I believe so.
All right, off the record, is there a reason why I have two waivers in here?
Executed, but that's the one, this is an old one, sorry, that's, let me just double check and make sure that we're. Okay, yeah, that was an old one that we tried to do before. This was the current, at least. Yeah, thank you, Joe.
All right, counsel, do you, and you've reviewed the indictment, is that correct?
Yes,
And you're waiving the reading of the indictment?
we are waiting, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yeah, not trying to be proceeding on a lesser charge of the class A misdemeanor assault volley family charge.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Did you review the court's admonishments and waivers with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? Did you understand the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of assault, bodily injury, family as a class A misdemeanor? Range of punishment is up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to enter a plea and give up those rights in this case?
Excuse me?
Did you intend to give up your rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Not really, but.
No, if you want to, no, here's the thing. In this courtroom, I don't do not reallys. Either you want the court to consider this plea or either you want a jury trial. Those are your choices.
Yes.
So, do you want a jury trial?
No, ma'am.
All right, then let's stop playing games, right? You answer my questions, and if you want a trial, then you can have a trial. And we'll have you brought back on Thursday and we'll start your jury trial. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I've gone over your rights with you. Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Cummings, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Did you understand that the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked? The court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine.
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense. There's a $500 fine to be probated. The state recommends deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence and there's to be no contact with the complainant. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes.
Did you understand that to be your plea?
Yes.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
Motions are filed, never ruled on, Judge, so there's
Right.
nothing pending before the court.
Thank you. Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 2 years, that there be 48 hours of community service restitution, the BIPP course, TAP evaluation, and follow all recommendations. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations.
Yes.
Then to the lesser included offense, how do you plea? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor, this time state moves to admit State Exhibit 1 with all attachments.
I review that with my client, Your Honor. We have no objections.
All right, and state, have you conferred with the complainant?
And after this plea is finished, we would like to read a victim impact statement.
All right. Did you review the document entitled waiver and consent to stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd ask that you waive PSI and sentence today.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, we've worked hard to negotiate this plea bargain. Your Honor, my client is here before the court and pled no contest. We just ask that you follow that agreement. He understands all the stipulations and requirements of probation, but this will give him a chance to put this behind him and continue on with his life. But we'd ask that you follow the agreement as reflected in the record.
All right. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
14, 12, and 7.
14, 12, and 7. Do you have any children with the complainant?
No, ma'am.
All right. And when's the last time you had contact with your children?
In a couple of months.
Are you paying child support?
Yes.
When's the last time you had employment?
Since this happened, about 3 months ago, something like that.
So she said you were doing drugs in her bathroom. What's with the drug use?
I don't do drugs. I was smoking a vape. I'm self-employed. I have a small real estate company. My account's been hacked and stuff like that. So I've been really trying to get everything together. Like the day I went to jail, it was the same day I had an auction on my house, and while I was in there, well, when I went back in there, I was auctioning off on my second house. So it's like me losing 2 homes in just like what 6 months, you know.
All right, so she says let's get back to, she says that you were using drugs in her bathroom. It says here, suspect was in the bathroom getting high, and she saw you doing that, and she said, pay me the money that you owe me and get out of my place.
I have nothing to do at all, me dealing with drugs at all.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't do anything dealing with drugs at all. I don't know nothing about that.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to 2 years deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Annabelle Mendez. Y'all don't have any children together. You're no longer in a relationship with her. Do not pick up the phone. Do not call her. Do not send gifts to her for Valentine's Day. I think Valentine's Day is coming up on the 14th. Do not send a message talking about you're sorry. Do not try to get back with her. You all don't have any property together. You have no children together. There's no need for you to contact her. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you contact her, you are looking at 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't do it, but I can tell the Bexar County Jail that you're going to serve that day for day and not 2 for 1 or 3 for 1. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything you do not understand when I say there is to be no contact?
I understand.
There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's a $500 fine that will be probated. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be in no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. The BIPP course. Probation, that can be a TAP evaluation out of custody. And if TAP recommends treatment, we'll start with outpatient treatment. And there's to be the UA hotline. And there's to be 48 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once he completes parenting, the restitution will for community service hours will be deemed satisfied. Probation, is there anything else he needs from the court? All right, there's to be field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
I don't know, but could I use this or anything? And also, I can't do home health care no more?
No,
I was doing it full time.
no. Yes. 48 hours. All right, is there anything else? Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal?
Yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, my understanding there's victim impact.
Correct.
All right, so the person that you are no longer, the complainant that you are no longer going to have contact with, this is the last time that you all will meet face to face. Do you understand? All right, they have something they would like to say to you.
I'm reading it on her tab. She says, I just have a few words to say.
Well, I mean, do you want her to read it on her behalf?
No, Judge, if she's gonna,
Your Honor, understanding of the code is that they do have a right to have their statements heard for victim impact statement.
By who?
Your Honor, if you can give me a few moments, I can get you the statute, but it is part of their victim rights.
All right. All right, court is calling 2024 CR 0122939, State of Texas versus, is it Cassie or Casey?
Cassie.
Cassie Ming. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason, you're ahead, Your Honor.
Defense?
Jorge Canales.
And are you Ms. Ming?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I have, yeah.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Ming, did you review the application for deferred adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, yeah.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Did you review the court admonishments and defendant's waivers with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with assaulting a public servant as a third-degree felony? Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
She has, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
She does.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe she was.
Ms. Ming, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. State is silent on your applications. They're taking in consideration 2024 CC 737630 and 2024 PF 06626. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The
Yes,
only
ma'am.
items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There have none.
All right, outside the agreement, the state is requesting that there be a TAP evaluation. Did you understand that it's a recommendation from the state and the court does not have to follow that recommendation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No consent.
State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. Say exhibit number 1 with office attachment.
No objections, Mayor.
All right, did you review this document, the waivers with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments or review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. You want to proceed with sentencing?
I believe the PSI would be appropriate, Judge.
Do you want to proceed with sentencing?
We do.
All right. Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
We'd ask that the court follow the agreement and consider her application for deferred. She does need some help. She was homeless at the time, and I think she still is. She would need some help in that regard.
All right, Ms. Ming.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So have you ever used any drugs in your past?
In the past.
All right. What have you used in the past?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. Have you ever been diagnosed with any mental health issues?
Schizophrenia, bipolar.
Okay. And do you have any family support?
No, ma'am. I
Right.
was thinking about like the state hospital or something.
All right. Do you have any children?
1.
Okay. And what is that child's age?
Come on.
I'm sorry?
Come on.
What's her age?
I haven't seen him since he was a newborn.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know what's going on. All right.
Okay.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to grant your application for deferred adjudication. the court is going to sentence you to 4 years deferred adjudication. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. What's going to happen? There's several programs that I'm going to try to get you into, but they're going to evaluate you at the jail. So make sure that you talk to them when they come to speak to you, okay?
Okay, what about is the state hospital option?
Well, we're going to see what they say, all right?
Okay,
All right, so in custody, I'm going to want the following evaluations. I'm going to want felony drug court because they'll be able to address whatever drug issues you have, but they'll also have a mental health component, okay?
yeah, because they said something about CHCS, but if I don't qualify for that, then I'll be homeless, couldn't come back in.
Oh, we're going to make sure that you have a place to stay, all right?
Okay,
All right, so I'm going to need you to be patient though, because sometimes it takes a while for the evaluations to get completed.
okay,
All right, so in custody, there's a felony drug court evaluation, a MIC evaluation, and a TAP evaluation. If for some reason she doesn't qualify for felony drug court, then we'll do the MIC and see what DDRF says. If DDRF is needed. And if for some reason it's not inpatient treatment, have her come back to court so we can figure out a placement for you so we can make sure you have housing.
I prefer to say hospital if you don't mind.
But we'll see, okay? I'll
Okay.
do my best.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Are you receiving SSI?
Yes, ma'am, 904 a month and plus my, the money that was owed to me from SSI. I have a number you can contact and reach. She was my former caseworker. Her name was Miss Carol.
All right.
Her number is.
Well, just one second. This is what I wanted you to do.
Okay.
Probation is going to talk to you. Make sure you let them know who your caseworker is, their name, and if you have a number for it, give them that number so we'll make sure your caseworker is contacted, okay?
Yeah, but she's no longer my caseworker, so I don't have a caseworker.
Oh, but
they
here's
have they have my money. And when I was getting my assets, my income plus the money that was owed to me from SSI.
All right, so what we'll do is we will make sure that someone is contacted. So we'll find out. So even if she's not your caseworker, they'll have another number for us, all right?
Okay.
All right, so proof of SSI within,
904 a month.
all right, 45 days. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. There is to be a $2,000 fine. That's going to be probated. So what that means is you don't have to pay that if you complete everything, okay?
Okay.
And there is to be taken in consideration 2024 CC 737630 and 2024 PF 06626. Probation, is there anything else? All right, and I'm not going to order anger management class because I think this is more of a mental health issue with drug issue. Is there anything else you need from me?
When would I be getting released?
As soon as they've completed the evaluations.
Okay.
All right. Did you review that document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal.
Yes,
All right, if there's something that comes up and you have questions about anything, let your probation officer know. If you feel they're not addressing
A
it,
PR bond?
no, no PR bond.
Just credit time, sir.
No, but I appreciate your asking. You know, it doesn't hurt to ask. All right, good luck to you, okay?
Okay, would there be credit time, sir, when I get released?
No. But your attorney will explain it to you, okay?
Okay.
Yes.
During the victim impact issue, I believe defense is.
I've had a chance to confer, Your Honor. I'll withdraw my objection so it can be read. into the
Right, well,
record.
if you all want him to read it, I mean, does he
Cummings is
read?
meeting.
Oh, that's him? Does he, I mean, you read, sir?
Yeah, I read it to him, Judge. I showed it to him.
All right. So that's what they wanted you to see and hear. Do you understand? Have you read it? Did you internalize it? She doesn't want you anymore. You're not to have any contact with her. Is there anything that you do not understand about that? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. May we be excused?
Yes,
Thank you, Judge.
you're welcome. See on Doberman?
I am Judge Murray.
Court is calling 2024 CR 012617 State versus Jessica Nicole Doberman. Could I have Doberman?
Yes.
Doberman.
Yes.
Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Agent Bettis.
Are you Miss Doberman? Counsel, have you received all discovery?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the application for deferred adjudication with your attorney?
Yes.
Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Did you review the document entitled admonishments and waivers with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Did you understand you're charged with evading arrest, detention in a vehicle? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in the prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Doberman?
Yes.
Doberman, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented? Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review, counsel? I'm sorry, just one second. Counsel, has your client been able to confer with you and provide you defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her rights to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea, the state is recommending deferred adjudication. They're taking in consideration 2024 AL 001123. There's to be restitution of $1,946.55 to Nina Lopez under 2024 AL 001123. What cause number is that for?
I don't understand your question, Judge.
What system is that from? Because it is not coming up on Odyssey, that AL. What is the AL for?
At large.
Ah, so it's,
It's an at-large case filed, I believe by SAPD and with our office under review in our intake section. So for that, I would send an ICR to. the
okay.
Department, letting them know.
All right, that's all I needed. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea? I'm sorry, is that the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Judge.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting your deferred adjudication be for a term of 3 years, 200 hours of community service restitution, and you're not to operate a motor vehicle until you produce a valid driver's license. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
And in exhibit 1 and attachment.
No objections.
And state, have you spoken to the complainant?
In 2024 AL 001123, yes, Judge.
All right, thank you.
We provided the restitution. Listed in the plea bargain.
All right, thank you. You may be excused. Did you review the waiver and consent to stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witness statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor.
All right, why did you take off?
I think I totally misunderstood when he handed me back my ID.
No,
we
in
were
the
done.
stipulations, it said you were causing a hazard. He came up to you and asked you what the problem was, and you told him you were out of gas. He asked you if you would need help with that, and then you'd sped off.
I just panicked. I really did just panic.
Why are you panicking?
I was just going through a lot with my children, with my husband.
Going through what?
I had just recently lost my job and I just a lot of stress.
All right, and this money that they're saying you owe to Nina Lopez, who is Nina Lopez to you?
I believe she resides in the same apartment complex.
Well, I mean, I don't know why you're saying you believe. How do you know her and why do you owe her $1,946.55?
Honestly, I went. Okay, so I had my truck in reverse and I tapped her vehicle.
Okay.
Her hood of her vehicle.
And do you have a valid driver's license?
No, ma'am, I do.
Did you have a valid driver's license during this incident?
No, ma'am.
So why are you driving and you have no license?
I know.
Well, I mean, we know that you know, but why are you driving without a license?
I just had went to the corner store to put gas. I know I should not have been driving.
If I may, Judge, she's been in jail 4 months?
5 months.
5 months. She's had a lot of time to think about this. I think she is prepared to make better decisions going forward. She did not like her stay at all.
And I will
And-
get my driver's
and,
license as soon as I get out of jail. I don't have anything.
Why did you
stopping
not
me.
have a license to begin with?
I just had not gone and renewed it.
All right. Do you have any children?
I do. I have a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 5-year-old that I have full custody of.
All right. So who's taking care of them?
My husband, who's out.
All right. There's going to be 200 hours of community service restitution. The court is going to order parenting classes, 3 years deferred adjudication, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs. Of course, no contact with Nina Lopez. There's to be no driving until further notice. So if you want to drive a vehicle, then you need to come to the court and ask permission. And of course, if you come to the court and ask permission, I'm going to want to see your license.
Yes, ma'am.
So there's to be no driving unless approved by the court. Proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court? Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you, Your
welcome. Oh, I'm sorry. Does she still have the warrant pending? Do I need to recall a warrant?
No, she's in custody,
Judge.
All right, no, but I had a note on the file that there was something else. Is there anything else or no?
I don't know of any other cases, no.
All right, we shall see.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Here on Dylan Newman. Thank you.
Ready for the judge?
Yes. And is this a plea on 2 cases?
It is, Judge.
And are there applications?
Yes, Judge, for deferred on both.
Yes. All right. All right, just have a seat. We'll get to you, okay?
Sit down.
All right, who's here on Walton Johnson? All right, and probation, there's no application in this case. Court is calling 2024 CR 011812, State versus Walter James Johnson. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Hector Groves Jr. for the defense.
And are you Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
We have him.
Mr. Johnson, did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Sure.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do well.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Johnson, did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? You understand you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram, that's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand, you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state is calling the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I feel that he does.
You believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I feel that he is.
Mr. Johnson, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented? Are you a U.S. citizen? Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed to 156 days in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. There's a $2,000 fine and no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, are there any such motions?
There's no such motion.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence.
It offers State's Exhibit number 1 and attachments.
All right,
Nope.
State, you may be excused. Any objection?
No objections from the defense.
Did you review the document entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call on the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Nothing.
All right, the court will follow your agreement. The court will sentence you to 156 days in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. There's a $2,000 fine, and time and money are to run concurrent. Is this a judgment satisfied?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, and the court will find that the judgment is satisfied. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to your attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Sir, how old are you?
65.
All right, no good can come of this using, no good is living on the street. I understand that people are homeless, but there are plenty of places that you can live at. And when you're homeless, you know, it's sad to say, but you can't be choosy, right? Some people say, I don't want to stay at the Haven for Hope, or I don't want to stay here, but that's all that's available, right? And if you have a drug problem, which it appears you have, you don't want to be that person that I end up, or somebody says, hey, Judge Boyd, did you see this in the news? And it's you in the news, and somebody's identified your body. There are so many free places they have in San Antonio now where you can go live and have your drug issues addressed. But you gotta reach out to want that. If you don't, nobody can help. Okay? All right, good luck to you. You're welcome. Have a good day.
Maybe excuse you.
Yes. Norma, did we take care of Flores?
What page is he on, Judge? Are you-
It's on page 2.
Yes. You
What
reset
happened?
it for, you recalled it for Thursday.
All right, thank you. And then on page 3, Trevino.
No, I haven't been able to get a hold of, Mr. Montoya. I can send him an email and tell him to be here Thursday.
All right, can you have Matt come over, please? If you'll send them an email.
Right now, or?
Yes.
Okay. Let me.
Hello? Okay, all right, thanks.
Judge, I'm ready when you are.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
And then. And then Nicholas Bexar, that's completed, correct? He's on page 6.
Yes.
And did we complete Lindsay Hernandez?
Yeah.
All right, so this case we have now is the last one. Yeah. All right, Marsha White.
Did you still want Trevino?
on.
Sorry, you still want Trevino?
Yeah,
It's ready for third.
he can, be sent back, but I still would like for Matt to be here today. All right, court is calling 2024 CR 012811 and 2025 CR 001217W, State versus Dalen James Newman. Can I have parties announced for the record? State.
Megan Gallery for the state.
Marshall D. White for Mr. Dylan Newman, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Newman?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery in this case and did you review with your client?
I am satisfied at this time, Your Honor.
All right, the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. And there's an application in each case, counsel?
That's correct, Judge.
All right, each of the cause numbers, did you review the application for deferred adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the cause number ending in 1217W, did you review the document entitled Waiver of Indictment, Reading of Information and Rights on Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you sign it?
Yes.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to have the grand jury hear the evidence in this case and make a decision on whether or not to indict this case? Did you understand?
Yes.
And did you also understand you're giving up certain rights your attorney has? Namely, your attorney has the right to have the passage of 2 days from the presentation of the information and 10 days to prepare for trial. Did you understand? And do you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you're giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived indictment, reading of information and rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Did you review the felony information in that cause number?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you review the indictment in the other cause number?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, do you waive the reading of the information in the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, in each of the cause numbers, are you proceeding as presented on the information as presented in the indictment?
Judge, on the case, the waiver case with the information,
It appears that you're proceeding on the Class A.
yes, that's correct.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
On that other indictment, we're proceeding as charged.
Thank you. All right, did you understand in the cause number ending in 7W, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of assault causing bodily injury family That is a Class A misdemeanor. Range of punishment is up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine. Do you understand? And the other cause number, you are charged with the offense of theft of a firearm as a state jail felony. Range of punishment is up to 2 years in the state jail facility and as low as 180 days and up to $10,000 fine. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each of the cause numbers, if you have a plea bargaining agreement, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
In each cause number, you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand by entering into these plea bargaining agreements, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into plea bargaining agreements in each cause number?
Yes, Your Honor.
You gotta speak up, Mr. Newman. I barely can hear you. I'm standing right next to you. He's gotta hear you.
Thank you. And the cause number ending in W, if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court would sentence you up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine. And the other cause number ending in one, and the number 1, if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, in each cause number, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
In both instances, I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Newman, in each cause number, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And the cause number ending in W, the state is proceeding on misdemeanor family violence assault. They're recommending deferred adjudication. This is run concurrent with the death of a firearm. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition,
Yes, Your Honor.
and you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the other cause number, according to the plea, there's a $0 fine. The case will run concurrent with 2024 PF 18961. I'm assuming that's the W case.
It is, and I just wrote that in indicted.
All right, so these two cases will run concurrently. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And there is to be restitution of $629.99 to Academy. And the state is recommending deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea in each of the cause numbers?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you review this plea bargain agreement with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense is at the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State is at the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No such motions, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement and the W cause number, the state is asking that your community supervision be for a term of 1 year. There be no contact with the complainant, a BIPP, TAIP evaluation and follow recommendation. And the cause number ending in the number 1, they're asking that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 3 years. There be a top evaluation, community service hours, and no contact with academy stores. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state? And the court does not have to follow those recommendations.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the cause number ending in W to the Class A misdemeanor, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest? And in the cause number ending in the number 1, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence in each of the cause numbers.
In each cause, the state offers states to exhibit and provide other documents.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, and state you may be, I'm sorry, state in the cause number ending in W, would you speak with the complainant?
Just give me a minute. Yes, Your Honor.
State you may be excused. And each cause number, did you review the waiver and consent to stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent? Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that in each of these cause numbers today, the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
In each cause number, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, in each cause number, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication in each cause number. Counsel, are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge, and if I may say a few words on Mr. Newman's behalf, respectfully, we ask the court to follow the plea bargain above the line. With respect to the items recommended by the state below the line, Judge, we recommend that the court place a condition where Mr. Newman has no harmful injurious contact with the alleged victim. I believe that is her wishes, the victim, that is to say, and they are expecting the child together in the very coming months, near months. In addition, Mr. Newman is, he was at the time, Judge, been battling some homelessness. He's informed me that he has been allowed to come back into his home with his parents. And he's, currently trying to work through getting employment. He's a young man, like I indicated, he just turned 20 years old this past August, I believe.
Sir.
And that's what I have to say on behalf of Mr. Newman.
All right, and why are you not living with your parents?
He is now, Your Honor. He was not.
Okay, why were you not living with your parents before?
They didn't want me at home
Why not?
because of my inconvenience, because of my attitude.
All right, what was the issue with your attitude?
Anger, disrupting the environment at home.
Why were you doing that?
I felt stuck. I was trapped. Couldn't do anything, get out.
What were you trying to get out of?
I was trying to find work, trying to get up on my feet, and I just couldn't.
Well, how far did you go in school?
I got to my freshman, sophomore year, and I got homeschooled.
Sophomore year, freshman year of what? High school?
High school.
All right, so,
And then
and you say you were homeschooled, so why didn't you complete high school?
I graduated,
All right, so you graduated from high school.
but I did it through homeschool.
Right, so you graduated from high school through homeschool.
Yes.
So did you start going to school and then were homeschooled?
Yes.
Why?
They felt that I was being too bad.
Was they?
My parents.
All right, so they took you out of school to be homeschooled.
Yes.
So you have your, I guess, your high school degree. And you can't get employment. Why couldn't you get employment?
People just weren't hiring at the time.
Where did you look for employment?
All over,
No, where is that?
like fast food industries, construction. I looked in retail.
So you didn't think maybe you needed to increase your level of education or go to a trade school?
I thought about that as well, but
But did
haven't
you do it?
further proceed. No.
All right. And then the person, the complainant in this case, in the police report, what I read is that she told you she was pregnant. And then both of you were drinking downtown. What were you drinking downtown? Alcohol?
Drinking downtown.
No, this is what it says in the stipulations. It says victim stated that she was in a dating relationship that was on and off with the suspect, that's you. And they were trying to work things out because victim is pregnant and she made you aware of the pregnancy. Victim stated that she and S1 have been driving and drinking all day and she wanted to go home. It says that victim is homeless, but wanted you to have a place to stay. So, and she tried to, well, she wanted you to have a hotel room. And she tried to drop you off, but you didn't want to be dropped off. What's that about?
That,
The fact that she tried to buy a hotel, well,
Yeah,
sorry, she tried to get a hotel room for you and to drop you off, but you didn't want to stay.
no, it wasn't that I didn't want to stay. We were there at the vicinity when everything happened. And from being downtown, we never drunk.
All right, so
Or
then,
was downtown.
okay, so then the hotel that she obtained for you, why do you want to stay there if you were homeless?
I was trying to stay there.
Then I don't understand, how does this go from you being homeless, she's trying to get you a place to stay, and then you're hitting her?
She didn't want to get it for me because of someone else that was with me. And I told her that that person wasn't gonna be there. It was just a ride. I was just a ride.
Was it a girl?
And then she proceeded to strike me while I was driving. So I stopped the car. And I didn't retaliate in hitting at first. I just poured her drink out. It was just Sunny D.
And whose car were you driving?
I was driving hers.
All right, and cause number 2025 CR 001217W. The court is going to sentence you to 1 year's deferred adjudication. There's to be no contact with Shayla Mills. Y'all are going to have to do child custody through a third person. And counsel, if she wants to have contact with him, she'll need to come in and speak to the court.
Oh, I understand, Judge.
There's to be 80 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once you, I'm sorry, not 80 hours. I'm going to order 100 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once you've completed parenting classes, 50 hours of the community service will be deemed satisfied. And then the remaining 50 hours will be satisfied if you obtain any type of trade school certification or you complete a higher level education. Otherwise, you can just do the 50 hours of community service and they're going to have you picking up trash somewhere. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider with minors. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. The state is, this will run concurrent with 2024 CR 02811. There's to be the BIPP course and field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. And cause number 2024 CR 012811, the court will sentence you to 3 years deferred adjudication. This will run concurrent with 2025 CR 001217W. And counsel, I'm also gonna put in the 2024 PF 18961 case in case there's some confusion in the system.
Judge, I would just say, with respect to the BIB class, do you want him to take a BIB course in addition to try to get a job and get some training?
Yes,
I think that's gonna be, he's not gonna be able to do it.
I'm sure he will. And there's gonna be 3 years deferred adjudication. The cases will run concurrent. There's to be restitution and no contact with Academy. And the restitution amount is $629.99. Again, there's regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors, field visits one time per month for 6 months. There'll be 100 hours of community service restitution. And the same, if he completes parenting, 50 hours will be deemed satisfied. And the other 50 hours will be deemed satisfied if he obtains a higher level education or completes some sort of trade school. And let me see. Probation, is there anything else with regards to that case? Is there anything else you need from the court in either of these cause numbers?
No, Your Honor, but I don't know if Job Corps has anything to help with my cases.
Oh, the probation will speak to you. And each of the cause numbers, did you review the documents in its title trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each cause numbers, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. And the cause number in 2025 CR 001217W. Because there's an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? Sure. All right, we can go off the record to be successful on probation in this court. Communication is key. If there's an issue, let probation know. If you feel as they're not addressing it, you can always come back to the court. All right, good luck to you. Thank you for addressing appropriately for court.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Have a good one. Thank you. Yes.
Plus ABN 1217W.
Yes.
That's 1 year.
Yes. All right, we'll be back on tomorrow, but I really mean Thursday.
Or 9 AM, Judge?